Welcome back to another week in the life of Silver Fern. Previously, you would have seen us on our loft conversion, put the ridge beam in, take the roof off, have a storm, not quite go so well.
Oh,
This week, we're putting the floor beam in, getting the brickwork up, and starting on the electrics. Let's go.
So back here on site, guys, down at our loft conversion, nice bright sunny day. If you come on round here with me, you'll see the guys. What we're doing, stripping the roof back here, so it's now all opened up. What we're going to be doing is building another wall of the dormer. Once that's been done, we're going to be moving on to putting on the roof joists.
Now this is essentially the boundary of the house. It's the party wall and it's shared between the two properties. The guys here have stripped back the roof of the neighbouring property to make sure that we can get a membrane underneath in order to protect both our property and the next door neighbours. We had to do this before we could start building the wall, and what you can see here is the guys just finishing off the membrane, starting to put the uprights in on the stud wall. We've done it this way so that if the neighbours ever decided to do a loft conversion, we've set it up for the builders in order to make it easier on them in the future, because it's kind of like paying it forward. Later on in the video, you're going to see how paying it forward from the 60s has made our life way easier today. Here the guys are finishing off webbing out the steel. You would have seen it in a previous episode, we started that, but we've got to finish it. This is really important for the next step where we can hang the joist off that bit of timber. Now the steel's webbed, you can see the guys have put a little bit of batten on the bottom so they can set the height of the joist. They're now putting these in. This is going to form the structure for the flat roof. It's really important that these goes in nice and level. The boys checking that the curve of the timber or the crown faces up towards the sky. Here's Sam laying the first sheet of OSB. That's oriented strand board. It's a man-made material which forms these sheets, and these sheets are structural to keep the rigidity of the roof. You lay them out in a particular way. We have what's called a lap, half sheet to full sheet. This forms the substructure for the waterproofing layer to go on top of, and is nailed down using the nail gun. Now that we've finished the side elevation, it's time for the boys to strip off, ready for our mate Lee from Lee Marks Roofing. Lee's an absolute legend down here, and he fits a product called Sanafill. It's a single ply membrane made by Seeker, and it's awesome stuff. You can see Marv here, he's about to go down, carry a 60 kilo roll of membrane on his shoulder, chucks it up onto the roof like nothing. Get on, Marv. Here you can see Lee get rid of all of the dust on the roof. He then lays out his pre-cut sheets and then starts the process of gluing them down. The pink stuff that you can see here is the glue. It adheres the membrane to the OSB surface. You can see Lee then pushes pressure onto the glue using the broom, and then it's a case of eat, sleep and repeat.
right, we've got Lee here up on the roof. He's cracking on, doing his thing. We're gonna start stripping out this part here. We got a steel, another steel to sit floor level. It goes in there to pick up the purlin, pick up this side of this ridge. When you got two pitch roofs against each other, against a ridge board, they're counteracting any downwards weight. Well, they're counteracting each other. But because we've took one side away, that side of that roof is now creating a pushing force on our steel. So needs supporting. So basically there'll be a steel underneath, there'll be a dwarf wall built off of that steel picking up the purlin.
We're planning on putting the steel in tomorrow, so we need to get something called a pad stone set in place. Now a pad stone, like in the previous episode, is a dense concrete block which gets mortared into the wall of the existing house to support the steel. You can see the guys have had to cut the timber plate out, and you can see the stone just going in and out a couple of times so we can get the heights right. This forms the base for us to rest the steel on tomorrow. The reason why we do it today is because we need to let all of the mortar go off so we've got a nice solid structure to put the steel on. Normally what happens with pad stones is one's really easy and one's really not. You can see the guys here having to chip away at bricks to set the height correct for the pad stone to support the other end of the steel, making sure that we get both of them level so that the steel sits level. Get on, Marv.
Right, we've got the pad stones in. That one, that one. Boys are turning up in a bit to give us a hand getting the steel up and getting the steel in. Hopefully go a bit smoother than last time. We got a stronger winch. Well, one of the tasks for today is going to be to get some of this roof stripped out because I need to take a bit of this purlin. So you've got an old bit of purlin here, you got this bit of purlin here. I need to use one of these pieces and splice onto that one because that one needs to obviously continue now. It'll sit in our gable wall.
What Sammy and Marv are doing now is taking away the rafters which are no longer needed. This is a really exciting part because you now actually get to have a better understanding of what the space is going to be like. Sammy loves his chainsaw. He's a Milwaukee man. Any chance he can possibly get to bring his chainsaw, it's out. It also makes light work of this really, really old timber, which has been sitting in the house for almost 100 years.
Right, we've got in there, a bit more stripped out, a bit more space to swing a cat. And now we're here for round 2. Get that bad boy up here. A little bit heavier, well, it's a little bit thicker, so I reckon it's going to be a bit heavier. Let's see how this one goes.
While Sammy's been busy inside, we've had a delivery of another steel. Now it's time to winch this up, get it up on the scaffold ready to go in. Again, boys take a bit of time, work out a plan of action, get the winch in position, and then up she goes. One of the things the boys came up with after we were pulling up the last steel, which went in the ridge, that they wanted to just create a secondary barrier, just in case. It was a good decision, and what you can see here is we've got the hook going through the end of the steel, and then the guys create like another lasso, which goes around the steel and is tied to the scaffold as a secondary precaution. This one went really smooth. You're about to see the winch pulls it up, you get it past halfway, and then from there it's really easy. Now the steel's up, the fun begins. Like the last one, which you can have a look in the previous episode, this bit here is the really awkward bit. Marv and Pete down one end, and it's really just a case of inch by inch, foot by foot, trying to make sure that we can clear all of the obstacles, including the house and the scaffold poles. We're really lucky, Marv's as strong as an ox. So normally he just ends up picking up one end, but Pete's obviously come to give him a hand down this end today. You can see now why the boys spent more time clearing the inside space. We've got to try and feed this steel all the way through and then turn it around 90 degrees so that it actually sits the way it's meant to in the house.
That's the steel in. Me and Marv are just building this dwarf wall now off of that steel under that purlin. Sun's out, so working on me tan. We've got Mark and Callum stripping the rest of these slates off.
It's time to strip the roof. You can see in here as the slates come off, the roof moves, and with the magic of editing, Max is about to show you back and forth how much it moves. Once the roof's stripped, we can get a temporary roof covering on. Again, it's really important. We haven't got any weather forecast, but it can change really quickly. So we put the plastic on the roof as a temporary roof covering, and then it's onto the side roof. We need to get the stud wall finished and the OSB on, as well as the membrane, so that we can let Howard and the guys at Howard Bruce bring the brickwork up, which is going to form the new gable. What you can see Sam and Martin doing here is we need to get some ladders which come off the existing wall and out over the brickwork. This is going to be the supports for the new soffit and fascia that are going on the outside.
Right, that's everything ready for the brickies. They got their 2 rafters and they got their tails to brick in.
Hi guys, another hot sunny day here down at the extension. What we're trying to do is load out the bricks, as you can see behind me. What we're doing is using this great little device here. There's Mark at the top, Callum waving
there
around. What we've set up is a little conveyor belt. So one person down the bottom loads, the rest pass it on up. Once they're up here, let's carry on loading out all these bricks, because tomorrow hopefully we've got the brickies to come here and build up this gable. Really simple. Here we go. Off she goes.
Goodbye, my friend.
Just got a few more to get out there. Yeah, though. Cheers, guys. That's how we get 600 bricks up a scaffold. Get on, boys.
Yeah, made some progress today. Gable's finished. Marv's just cleaning it up. We've got some of these rafters in. The electricians have turned up to make the cables safe for us. I'll pass you over to Lewis.
I'm Lewis from the electricians and we're back. This morning we are going to try and make good all of the electrics in the existing house so that we're ready for floor joists and then first fix. Right. What I meant by sorting out the electrics in the floor, as is common in houses of this age, there's no earthing in any of the switch wires. So we're going to have to rewire all the switches with a new cable so that it's safe. So what I mean by no earthing is cable of this age, maybe 20s and 30s. They didn't put an earth core in the cable. It's just a live and a neutral. Now that can cause some real problems if there is a fault because you've got no protection. Fortunately, in this house, all the switch cables are in metal pipe. Not so fortunate with the old wiring because that's a lot of metal pipe with no earth protection. But it does mean that we'll be able to tape on the ground floor and pull in some new cables with any luck, without making too much mess. Once the wiring's all been sorted out and all tucked below the existing floor joists, Sammy will be able to come in with his timber and go straight through without anything in his way. Let's get on it. Andy's gone to get an impact while I wait. I'm going to do it the hard way. Underneath here somewhere will be the back bedroom light switch, which is the first one we're going to pull up with any luck. Hopefully Andy will turn up with the impact driver soon, eh? Well, just gotta wait for Andy and the cable now.
Am I on the right one? Do you want to pull it down?
Oh yeah, I think you were above it. Is that one there?
Yeah, we've got the right one.
Okay.
You ready?
Yeah, go.
He's got mic on.
Okay, here we go.
Might be a bit tight. Oh, there it goes.
Yeah, come in.
One. Let's celebrate once all 6 of them are done, eh?
I'll pull that long enough to get to the light, Andy.
Cool. Yeah, so normally the box would be like plastic lugs and no earth like termination, and now. But then it's surprised to see a box like this.
Yeah. What, being metal or?
Yeah. So this should never been put in without an earth wire.
Yeah.
So quite bad really, because if that box ever came live, then the screws of the switch become live.
Yeah. And then you touch it and
then if they would put a metal switch on, like a chrome switch,
could
you'd get a nasty
like
shock.
bang, yeah.
So it's bad really. But yeah, normally these bits of plastic. definitely. Yeah, it's being updated at some point, but not the wiring.
Yeah. But it's right. We're here to fix it.
Yeah. It's all right.
What a week. It's starting to really take shape. We're really excited about it. The brickwork looks awesome. Sparkies are starting to work on it. Steels are in. It's always hard when you get that structure. But look, we've done it. We're here. We're really excited about what next week's hold. If you've enjoyed this, please consider hitting the subscribe button. Give us a thumbs up. Hit the likes button. Thank you so much for watching. We will see you guys on the next one.